Hey, Chris Lee here. Welcome back to the channel. Today, I want to talk about the 10 things that poor people do that rich don't. Now, I just want to state real quick that I am not that rich person, but I was poor and now I'm in the middle. So I want to express some things that I have done, some mentality things that I have changed to help me level up. And I believe that if I continue these things, I will keep leveling up to a very rich point of view. So with that said, just keep in mind that these are things that have actually been in my life and that were keeping me poor. And once I changed these things, positive things started happening. So I'm just reporting on what has actually been the truth for me. And it probably is the truth for you too, but you just gotta swallow that pill. So if you are someone that maybe has bad mentalities, or maybe you're someone that's thinking like, maybe I have bad mentalities and you wanna hear what I have to say, I think you're really gonna learn a lot from my mistakes or my mentality faults. So stick around right after this intro. All right, welcome back, guys. So I can't wait to talk about this video with you guys because this is some real shit that's happened with me that I have been dealing with and I've overcome, right? So this is 10 things that poor people do that the rich don't. And actually it's things that poor people don't do as well. So if this is your first time ever visiting this channel, my name is Chris Lee. I'm an affiliate marketer. I come from a background of music from when I was a teenager all the way to my adulthood, and now I am into marketing and I'm an affiliate marketer. So before we get into this video, as always, I want you guys to go ahead and hit the subscribe button and also hit that notification bell so you can keep receiving these videos. Now for the topic that we wanted to get into, let's start talking about the 10 things that poor people do that the rich people don't. So let's just go right into the first one, which is poor people watch TV and rich people read books. Now, I cannot tell you how much of a difference this has made for me because I am definitely a Netflix binge watcher. Like, I will crush seasons in a weekend, but I stopped doing that. I started reading books. I started looking up to people, whether it's on the internet or people that I've met in real life, that have inspired me to be like, hey, pick up a book. You want to start learning how to get rich? Go read a book on someone that has gotten rich. See what systems they've put in place. Start influencing your mind to switch to different gears. Because when you're just constantly watching TV and you're watching Netflix, you're literally doing nothing for yourself. You're just entertaining your mind when you could be doing other things to get you more money, to get you to stop complaining about being poor. Now you might be thinking, come on, like watching TV, that's what's making me poor? Yeah, it's attributing to a lot of that, a lot more than you would think. Because I don't think you realize that when you're just sitting there watching TV, maybe you come home from work and you just immediately start watching TV, sitting on the couch or be on your computer desk and just watching Netflix on your computer, you're not doing anything for yourself. You're literally just wasting time. And time is all we got. And if that's how you're gonna spend your time, I'm sorry, you're gonna not advance in your life at all. So just stop watching TV, pick up a book, or maybe just start getting books that influence on breaking habits. That's a huge way to start momentum to becoming more of a rich person. Now, the other thing that poor people do that rich people don't is that poor people get paid for their time and rich people get paid for results. Now think about this for a second. If you're just going to your job and you put in the hours, you get paid for however long you're there, right? You don't get paid for how well of a job you do, how much you do. If you put in, sure, you might get paid some overtime, but the bottom line is you're getting paid for the time that you're there and that's it. Whereas rich people get paid for their results. They go out and they try and seek problems to solve and they try and get more companies money. When the companies get more money, they get paid on that advance. There's a really huge difference there. I hope you can see that. So if you do have a full-time job and you're just always putting in the time over there, you're putting in a bunch of overtime, maybe start thinking about a different way that you can start making the money outside of your job. Yes, you'll be putting more time in, but it'll be putting more time into something that can get you money for your results. And when you get money for results, you get a lot more money. It won't be that way at first, but you have to put in the time to get the results, and the results will speak for themselves, which will speak money. So as an example for me, like I still do have a job, right? But I come home and I work on my business. I work on my online affiliate marketing business and I get results from both. And I'm gonna keep doing that until eventually this one just creeps over and takes over and I don't have to work that anymore. That's my goal. And because I'm doing that, I'm actually getting 2 incomes. Think about that. Yeah, it's a lot of work. I'd rather put in the extra time towards affiliate marketing than putting the extra time at my job that I hate. Number 3 is a really big one, and it's the fact that poor people blame their circumstances on everything else but them, and rich people take responsibility. For example, poor people think the government's always fucking with their money. Poor people think their boss is costing them from getting an advancement or costing them from getting that promotion. Poor people think that their circumstances are biased decisions by higher powers than them. They have all these crazy things that they think in their head. If that's you, you need to stop that. That was me. I was definitely that person. I used to always think that my bosses just had it out for me, when really what it was is just I can only provide so much value in the position that I had. If I wanted to get more money, I needed to find a way to solve my own problem and become more valuable to that company. So since I'm on this subject of providing value to a company, let me just go off and talk real quick about you need to be able to provide value. Now, I have worked a ton of construction jobs. I've worked my ass off. Trust me, if you are a construction worker and you're watching this, I feel you, dude. I don't know. I have been there, right? The thing is we have to realize is that you're replaceable. And I don't mean like you're a shitty worker or you're not one of a kind. You might be a badass person that can just build anything, right? You can build a house from the ground up. That's great. But at the same time, you got to realize the company that you're working for, you're just a worker, right? You're not getting them more money. And you might be thinking, oh, well, if they didn't have me, they wouldn't be getting these houses built and they wouldn't have any money. But like, no, that's not true. They would just get rid of you and replace you. Like you're just muscle. And I'm not trying to degrade you or talk down to you, because I think what you do is admirable and we need people to build all the buildings and the houses around this world. But at the same time, you have to realize that if you're not bringing that company in money, like actually bringing in profits, you don't deserve to get that $100,000 salary. You know what I mean? Like you have to be someone that is providing value to something. So this construction job you have that you're really good at, you have to realize it's a replaceable position. You're just only using muscle and you're a part of the bigger picture. So if this is someone like you and you do say things like that, because I've said things like that for sure, you have to step back and look like, well, what am I actually doing for this company that would make them give me more money? Because if I'm just doing the same thing as everybody else is doing and they're making the same as me, maybe a little more, maybe a little less, but nobody's reaching any huge goals or huge amounts of money, you know, think about that for a second. Are you going out and getting these jobs? Because if you're getting these huge jobs, then you probably are getting a lot of money because you're actually bringing in money for the company, which would mean that you should get a bigger pay cut, right? But just because you build the building, yeah, they might not have that building built if you weren't there, but they would just go hire another person with muscle to do it too. Now on the flip side, where the rich take responsibility and they're getting paid based on the results, if the results don't work, it lands on them. Imagine taking that hit. Imagine costing a company money because you did something wrong and it all goes on you. Whereas you, the worker, you get to walk away from that, right? There's nothing on your shoulders besides the fact if you break a building, but you know, that's a whole nother thing. So that's the huge difference of taking responsibility and just blaming others for your misfortune. The government's not after you. The government helps you, which I think is a huge enabling problem right now. Like we're just enabling people to be poor because the government's gonna give them money. We're not teaching people to go out and get their own money. So now let's move on to number 4, which is poor people try to save money and rich people invest their money. Now, when I'm talking about saving, I don't mean like saving a lot of money in a bank account and all that stuff. No. Because rich people do that too. They save, they plan for their future. The kind of saving that I'm talking about that poor people do, and this another thing that I've done, and sometimes I still do, is that we try and penny pinch. We try and save a little cent here and a little cent there, maybe $1. What is that doing? It's a penny's a penny. $1's $1. It ain't gonna do shit for you. You going to Starbucks and being like, oh no, I'm not gonna get anything, I'm trying to save. It's a fucking Starbucks. What monumental impact is that gonna have on your money big picture, you know? You gotta stop thinking about saving pennies here and there and actually start thinking about investing either a part of your paycheck into a bigger savings account for actual shit that happens, or start thinking about saving bigger amounts of your paycheck if you can. And if you can't, figure out a way, solve that problem for yourself and go do whatever you need to do to get a bigger income and actually invest in yourself. That's the difference between a rich person and poor person, is that they invest in themselves. They will spend thousands of dollars in a mentor to have them teach them how to do things to level themselves up to get that money back. It's smart. Now, you might be saying like, why would you say that? Like, you don't know my situation. You don't know my life. You don't know what I'm going through. Well, I'll tell you what. I'll just tell you what I've been through. And no, I was not born in the extreme ghetto in Detroit where I was, raised into violence and I didn't have a dad and all this stuff. No. But I also was not raised in a very rich environment either. You know, I was kind of in the middle there. Now, with that said, I didn't have the advantages of having mentors growing up. Everything I've learned is because I taught myself, because I went out and just gathered myself together and went out and researched everything, and I invested in my learning. And, you know, I worked from like free alternatives to putting money into myself and then just stacking on from there. I went from being the poor person to in the middle, and now I'm trying to get the middle up there. Now I just want to give you an example, and I know I've said this in other videos, but I'm just going to mention it in this one too, is like, you know, I've been poor. I've literally been homeless in a van and lived in a Walmart parking lot. You know, I've been through that. That was my lowest point, and it was just so cold that I had to just get completely like wasted to even fall asleep. But after that moment in my life, after being in that place, and I'm sure you're in that place right now, or maybe you have been in that place, and maybe you got yourself out. And if you have gotten yourself out, imagine if you pushed it further, how much farther you'd get. If what you did got you out of that situation, what would be the next thing to do to get out of that situation? Keep investing in yourself. Now, if you are currently in that situation where you're just like, you're very poor, you're living paycheck to paycheck, barely, you're having to figure out how to spend your money before you get it, then you need to figure out some alternative way, some kind of sacrifice you can make to keep a sum of money and start investing in yourself. Even if it's just going to Barnes & Noble and picking up a book that can just switch your mind, you know? Get into this other mindset and stop victimizing yourself, and so you can break free from that. But there are alternative ways. Like, you could be watching this YouTube video right now, or maybe subscribe to my channel, and maybe I'm helping you, you know? Maybe what I say is helping you, or other people that you follow. There are free alternatives to switch your mindset and to, you know, to get ideas on how to make more money. But the ultimate thing is that you always looking for the way to do something free is just that. Like, you're not, there's nothing on the line for you. You're not investing in yourself. So why would you take it seriously? I bet you if you threw in the only $1,000 that you had, which I've done, by the way, I risked it all. It was the only $1,000 I had. I put it into a course, and I didn't treat it like it was nothing. That is for damn sure. Like, I wanted to make sure I squeezed every little drop out of that, because that was the only $1,000 I had. There was a lot on the line for me, right? So put yourself in those situations and you will figure it out, because you have to figure it out, because you just gave everything you had. Let me know if what I'm saying is something that you agree with. Go ahead and comment below. Let me know. Is this you? You know, is this currently you? Has this been you? You know, am I saying things that are kind of like opening your eyes a little bit? I really hope it is, because I got a lot more to go. So just go ahead and comment below. But we're going to move on to number 5, which is, if you're going to comment, it's probably going to be this person. Poor people think they know it all, and they really judge. Rich people aren't. They don't do that. They don't need to do that. Rich people don't know it all. They admit they don't know it all. That's why they're always learning. That's why they're always investing in themselves, like I talked about earlier. But a poor person will go on a YouTube video like this and comment below and say things like, what do you know? You're not rich. What do you know? You don't have $1 million. You know, you think you know poor people? You've never stepped a foot in the ghetto of wherever. Like, you're missing the entire point. The point is that you need to stop thinking like that. You need to want to figure out a way to better yourself, instead of going on a YouTube video and commenting all negative and missing the whole point that I'm trying to sink into your head, which is stop having this mindset. Or a poor person might even go and comment below and being like, you don't understand, the government has put things in place to keep people down, people like me in my community, you know, they've introduced drugs and this and that, and like, just whatever they want to say to think they know it all, or to sit there and judge me for wanting to say things because I don't have $1 million in my bank right now. You know, like, it doesn't matter. The fact of the matter is, I don't think I'm a victim, and I'm constantly elevating in my life, which is what I want, which is great, and which I want for you too. But a person that's poor is gonna see this video and probably hate it and probably comment something stupid about it. But if this is you, go ahead and comment and prove me right. Anyways, let's move on to number 6, which is poor people think money is evil and rich people just don't. Now, the reason why poor people think money is evil is because they think it makes greed. They think that it takes advantage of people. They think that it goes to the government to do more harmful things to people. Whatever they think, whatever crazy things they think about money. And yes, money can be used for evil, but money certainly is not evil. You know, kind of goes with the whole gun control thing, where like people think guns are evil, but it's what the person does and how they use it. Yes, a gun can be lethal, but it's whoever's operating the gun. Anyways, I'm not trying to start a whole debate on that, but what I'm trying to say is money is not evil. Money is just money. It's paper. It's paper, and we trade it. That's it. People use it for evil reasons, yes. And don't do that. Don't be that person. I would never advocate that. The fact that you think money is actually evil is absurd. And that needs to stop. Money helps you. Money helps you get things. Money helps you balance your life. Money helps you, help other people. But yes, of course, you can't have the good without the bad. Just make sure you don't use it for bad. Make sure you just use it for good. Simple as that. Now, number 7 is that poor people have this lucky mentality, right? Like going and getting lotto tickets all the time, or going and gambling, or whatever thing like that. And rich people have an action-taking mentality, right? They don't believe in luck. Rich people believe, I'm the one that's in charge. I'm the one that makes my own luck. I'm the one that decides if things are gonna happen or not, because it's true. You are the one that decides what happens in your life. You are the one that either takes the action or you don't. If you don't take the action, nothing happens. It's simple as that. Now, since we're talking about the lucky mentality, a lot of poor people think that, they may have had an idea. They may have thought of Uber before Uber existed, right? And they think, well, that person just got lucky. That person had something handed to them. No, that's not true. No, the difference is that you had an idea, so fucking what? You had an idea, great. What does that do for you? Lots of people have ideas all the time. I think of ideas all the time. My head spins a million miles an hour all the time. I have a million ideas. But it's whether you actually execute on those ideas, whether you actually take action in that. So that's what I'm trying to say. You may have had the idea, but the difference is the rich person executed and you didn't. The rich mindset, the rich person implements all the time. Now, let's say that you did have a great idea, or even a mediocre idea, right? Because you don't need a great idea. You really don't. You just need an all right idea, and then you need to implement. And now, just because you have an idea and you want to present it to somebody to invest in, that still doesn't mean anything to them. I can go up to somebody and be like, I got this idea, this idea, this idea, and this idea. Which one do you want to invest to? Like, I don't want to invest in either of that shit. The reason why is because you haven't done anything to start it. You haven't done anything to get it going. What teams are there? What strategies are in place? What does it have going on? I'll tell you this, from the music industry standpoint, a record label will not look at a band or even consider signing them whatsoever unless there's some good baggage with it, right? They want to see that the band works before they just start dumping money into it. That's a stupid thing to do. A rich person would never invest in something that is not going to benefit. And don't even go there and be like, yeah, rich people is always what's about them. No, because that's you too. Poor people are always thinking what's in it for me, because you have to. It's a part of the way you survive is, what's this going to do for me? What's the benefit for me? I'm only speaking from experience. Based on my experiences, I've been there. I've thought that way. But the reality is no one owes you shit. The world doesn't owe you anything. So it's up to you. If you got ideas, you need to start implementing. You need to start learning about business. What do I need to make this happen? Who needs to be on this to make this happen? What skills do I have that I can use, or what skills that I don't have that I need to get somebody on board? And you need to start looking for those people, come up with something solid, and then turn that idea into something, right? And then present it, and then get investors. And this brings me to number 8, which is poor people stop learning. The second they get out of high school, or maybe they do a little bit of college, or even if they graduate college, that's as far as it goes. They stop learning. They think they're done. Rich people don't ever stop learning. Like I said, they're always investing in themselves, but not just with money. They're investing in themselves with mentors, with books, with courses, whatever they need to do, whatever skill they need to learn, which I'll get into that a little bit, is that's what they need to do. They don't ever stop. Poor people do. They go home and watch Netflix, They go to work and they go home and that's it. And believe me, I get it. I've been there. I was there for years, up until this past year where I decided to take action in my life. And I can tell you from firsthand experience that me deciding to just go out of my way and learn instead of coming home and watching Netflix or doing anything stupid like that, it disgusts me to even think about doing that anymore, because there's just so much more opportunity out in the world now that I've exposed myself to it, that I would never go back. I want to constantly be learning. If I'm not learning, if I'm not constantly a student and I think I just know it all, or I just think I don't need to learn anything, well, then I'm going to stay exactly in the place that I'm at. And if you are not happy in the place you're at, then you probably need to do something about that, right? So maybe it's time to start thinking about, what do I need to learn? If I don't like where I'm at in my job, what would get me more money in my job? What do I need to learn to get more money? You might be thinking I need to go to college. I need to get a doctorate or a bachelor degree or whatever, master's. No, you don't. It's honestly the results. People care about results. Business owners care about results. If you can't produce results, they don't need you. Simple as that. So if there is a particular set of skills that you need to learn to level up in your job, Go learn those skills. Go to your boss and be like, hey, I want to learn how to do this. Who do I go to talk about this? You know, what are things that I need to learn to get this new job, to get this higher up job? What do I need to do? And they'll tell you. The mere fact that you're expressing interest in it is enough for them to be like, go in this direction. You know, they want people like that. So keep learning. So number 9 is that poor people like to dwell in their problems and rich people like to solve their problems. So I know for me, there's been plenty of times in my life where I just sit and sulk in the problem, right? If something happened at work, or if I had a financial issue, or if I came across some bad luck, right? Then I would just sit there and woe is me, you know, do that whole pity party thing, blame every person under the sun, or, you know, whatever it is. You're not actually gonna stop and be like, all right, this really sucks. How do I solve this? How do I get out of this? You know, you aren't thinking like that, and that's a huge problem. Honestly, that's what's separating you from a rich person, is the fact that rich people do not do that at all. You will never catch a rich person sitting there sulking in their problems. They're immediately like, okay, how do I solve this? How do I solve this? What's the next thing? You know, what did I do wrong? How do I fix this? They're constantly doing that. And they're doing that for people too. Once they figure out how to do it for themselves, they figure out how to do it for people, and that's what makes them even richer. You know, now they're taking their skills and they're taking all the knowledge they have, and they're taking their personal testimonial and they're preaching it to a tribe that they try to attract, and they solve their problems, right? Hopefully I'm helping you solve a problem right now. Hopefully I'm helping you recognize that you are this poor person. And yes, I am talking about money, but I'm also talking here, like I mentioned earlier, you know, hopefully I'm helping you recognize like, oh my God, I'm definitely a person that's like this. Now, here's number 10 is poor people quit. They're always quitting, and rich people never quit. They're always pushing the envelope forward, right? Now, as a poor person, the reason why you quit is because you get discouraged. You know, your financial situation sucks, your family situation sucks, you hate your job. If you try and do something new, you get very discouraged very easily. And it's because you are not willing to commit the time, you're not willing to commit the effort, you're not willing to see things through, and you just shut it down, right? Because it's just too much to handle. It's just too much. But we need to break that. You need to break that. If you don't start breaking that, you're never going to move forward. You're just gonna sit there and sulk and blame everything on everybody else. Like that's such an ugly, bleak world to live in, and I don't want anybody to live in that world, right? We have to start seeing things through. We have to know that you're not gonna be successful in a month. You know, you're not gonna be successful maybe in 6 months. It might take a year or 2 for you to see any momentum, but that's what it takes. And I'm sorry, but that's just the deal, you know? Rome wasn't built in a day. You know, things don't happen that quick. If you stop quitting, then that won't be an issue for you anymore. If you just see things through and keep advancing to the next thing, if you focus on the end goal and reverse engineer that and take every step you can on that way, you will have a projected path to follow and you won't quit. I think it's a really good piece of advice, is like, figure out what your end goal is and then break that down. You know, what's it gonna take to do that in this amount of time, and then break that down even smaller, break it all the way down to like a weekly basis. What do you need to do on a weekly basis to get to that goal? And that'll help you, you know, tunnel vision on that path, and you'll keep moving forward and you won't quit. But you need to stop quitting. Absolutely. Rich people don't do that. I'm actually gonna go ahead and throw a little bonus one in here, right? And this bonus one is probably one of the best ones, which is poor people don't start. They never start anything. And rich people are always starting. They're always starting over, whether that's starting a new business, learning a new skill, or learning a new way to do something, right? They're always starting. And the poor person just doesn't even start. The poor person thinks, I can never do that. Those cards aren't in it for me. My family doesn't do things like that. I wasn't raised that way. Whatever it is, you just don't start, right? You don't ever take this first step. Part of the reason why is because poor people don't have any mentors. They don't have anyone to look up to, you know, within their community. And they're not taught to go reach out to find those people to look up to in their community, right? And I know I didn't have that. Like, my parents aren't business people. You know, they're 9 to 5 job workers, which is nothing wrong with that at all. They provided a great home. They provided a great life for me, you know, but at the same time, they couldn't teach me skills to be better than them. You know, they couldn't teach me how to be entrepreneur. They couldn't teach me how to have certain mentalities to bring me forward in my life. They couldn't teach me how to invest my money or anything like that. You know, I didn't have anyone in my family like that. I'm probably the first person in my family, besides maybe one other person, who is getting into having their own business. But yeah, I didn't have any friends like that. Their parents weren't like that. I didn't have any teachers like that. I didn't have any tutors like that. I literally didn't have anybody in my life to teach me these things. I've had to learn everything on my own. I've had to willingly go out on my own and seek all these things out, right? Nobody's teaching the poor people how to have different mindsets and be an entrepreneur and actually make an economy in their country by starting businesses. We go to school and they just teach us to be workers. They don't teach us to be problem solvers for the world. They don't teach us to be leaders, and they most certainly do not teach us to start. But I'm not blaming them, I'm merely pointing out, because blaming isn't gonna do anything, because what we do have is the internet. We have an untapped amount of resources right at our fingertips, and all we gotta do is search how to do it. All we need to do is just take the first step and start. And then once we figured out that arena and we know we gotta take another step, then we need to start again. We need to constantly be starting, right? And I know that might sound exhausting, but when you see results, all you wanna do is keep going. All you wanna do is keep starting and finishing and starting and finishing and starting and finishing. I guess you're really not ever finishing if you think about it, but that's the point. You're constantly growing. You're constantly getting to that next level that you wanna be at. So if all of these things sound like you, if you are watching this video right now and you're like, damn, really hitting a lot of shit right here, Chris, good. I'm glad. I want to. I really want to get this through into your head that we need to shift our mindset. We need to stop thinking poor, and thus we will not be poor. Literally and figuratively and mentally. Everything about it. Anyways, that's gonna do it for this video, guys. I really appreciate you sticking out and watching this all the way through. If you disagree with me, go ahead and comment below. You know, let me have a piece of your mind. I really wanna know. You know, I'm a good sport about it. Or if you love this video, go ahead and let me know that too. Either way, give this video a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, and hit the notification bell so you can keep getting all these videos from me. My name's Chris Lee, and I will talk to you guys later. Peace.